Okay, so we are going to do a brief overview here of our income sheet. And I just want to explain what is in here and how to utilize this as you are planning your business. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so you have a link to this to make a copy yourself. And like I said before, anything that's in Google here, all you do is you do file and then you make your own copy, and that will allow you to edit it. I'm in my account right now, so I can edit this, but the version that you will see will say view only. So you can either make a copy. You also have a link to this as an Excel sheet if that is something you prefer. So you can go ahead and open that Excel sheet and just start working out of that. Now, what you're going to do here is start looking at the expenses in your business and the income that you're bringing in. You can always go through here if you right click on one of these, and then you can insert a row above or below and kind of build this out. I just have it pretty close right now because in the beginning of your business, you're not going to have a lot of expenses and you probably don't have too many clients. So this is just an example. Like in my business, we pay for Google. It's now called Workplace. And it's $6 a month for me to have, a professional Gmail account. And then let's say I have one VA client right now. So this is a client I'm providing VA services for, and they are providing me with $500. So I'm also going to start kind of figuring out what I think my taxes are going to be. You're going to have to look at your state to know the general percentage. It's always a guessing game, kind of, because it's the IRS. They don't make it simple, so decide what percentage you want to put in here as far as taxes. And then you're just going to be able to kind of look at, what do you have coming in and what do you have coming out. So we always also like everything you do, go ahead and put it in this sheet, even if it's small things that you had to pay for once or you bought a template, because it's going to help make your life easier as you work with your clients, or even this course. Like put this course in here, because when you at the end of the year, when you file your taxes, it's going to be so much easier to go back and look at what you spent when it's in one sheet. When we have to go through and look at credit cards or look at bank statements or whatever it is, like we're going to miss things, and we want to be able to claim as much as possible because it's going to benefit us in the end. So just make sure that you are, you could do this weekly or monthly or whatever. Every time you make a purchase, just go put it in here. And every time that you get paid, just go put it in here, because it's going to make your life easier when you get to the end of the year. So here is another, we talked about the income workout, and this is part of your homework, but I want you guys to look at first, what is your expenses? What are your expenses? So for maybe internet is $65 a month. If you decided to do a premium version of Get Harvest, I believe that's around $15 a month. If you don't have more than 2 clients, you don't need the premium version, but that's up to you. Let's say, you spent, or you think you're going to spend $25 a month on supplies just to kind of get your home office up and running, your email, and then you just, if there's a software you're going to pay for, these are going to be determined by your business and what you do. You might be using Canva Pro, or you have, Photoshop, or whatever it is. You're going to start putting those in here. Now, it's going to put your total monthly expense here. It's just automation. You can insert more rows if you'd like, but then we are going to look at our income goal. So I always start my clients off with a goal of 60,000 a year. I think it's a good place to be. It's up to you. It depends on where you live. You might need it to be 120,000 a year. You might need it to be 30. This is completely individual. So let's just work with the $60,000 number. So we're going to put our income goal in here as 60,000. Now, that's after expenses. So I want that to be after everything that we have to pay out monthly in our business. So it's going to, take this number and it's multiplying it by 12. So this is, if our expenses were 111 every month, then this is our annual number for our expenses. Now, I want you to think about how many hours do you want to work per month as a VA, per week as a VA. Now, some people might be like, I want to work 40. I want to work full time. Be very careful saying you want to work 40 hours because remember, you're a business owner. So you need time to be able to invoice. You need time to work on your own business or have those discovery calls or put out your own content. Or even just going through this sheet and making sure that you're adding what your expenses are, what you spent this month, right? So we need to have time scheduled every week to do some of our own business tasks. So don't put 40 in here unless you want to work 45 hours a week, right? So if you want to spend 30 hours a week on your business, including your client time, maybe you put 25 in here. So now I can see, okay, if I want to spend 25 client hours per week in this situation, I want to bring in $60,000 after expenses, and we aren't considering taxes in here. But this is just before taxes. But I want to bring in $60,000 annually before taxes. I now know this is the rate that I need to charge my clients. Now, this is not an outrageous rate. So, I mean, I would not put $47.18. I might do 47 or 48, if you really want to put 18 cents there, that's your prerogative. But I like to have even numbers for my rates. I think most people do. But as you specialize and become an expert in an area that we discussed, you are going to be able to charge these rates. Or when you start creating these retainers, they're not going to see that it's $47 an hour. They're going to see this great package that you're going to provide for their business for, a certain amount of money. So it's going to be a lot easier to hit these rates than you think. Let's say everyone wants to make six figures. Six figures is the big number. So now I'm at $78 per month, per hour. Now to really hit this rate, I'm going to have to be an expert, or I'm going to have some really high level retainers. And most likely to hit six figures, I'm really going to want to put those hours up. So now I am working full time. I am putting 40 hours if I add in my own business there. And so at a full-time workload, I can charge $55 an hour or $56 an hour, which puts me closer to that six-figure goal. And, when you become a solid VA or a solid, expert on systems, funnels, automations, whatever it is, this is not a hard rate to hit. So really, start thinking about where you want to be. And maybe you start off and you're like, well, I want to hit six figures, but this first year, I'm going to focus on 75. Bam, $42 an hour. People pay that all the time. Okay. So play around with this and really, spend some time looking into what your numbers look like, what your expenses are, and make sure that you're tracking this week, daily, weekly, whatever you want to put in your system. Put it in your calendar to say like update income and expense workout. Okay. And then what you can do is, I did mention in another video that you need to be paying your taxes quarterly. So each quarter you could go ahead, click this arrow, duplicate, change the Q to Q2, clear this out. That way you just have a clean sheet for each quarter. And it's going to make your life so much easier. So please just spend some time working through this and updating it as often as possible.